Hi, welcome to Kudurru Stone. In this video, we will be giving a brief overview of the Kudurru Stone application. We will not be spending a significant amount of time on any one item, but rather we'll be briefly describing the overall functionality of the application. We'll hit upon the main concepts and functionality to give you a general feel for what the Kudurru Stone application can do for you. So, let's get started. As soon as you sign into the application, you will be presented with the dashboard. The dashboard gives you an overview of your business and the projects that you're currently working on. You'll notice up here in the top, we have scheduled tasks, projects, and new tasks. These are just quick links to specific locations throughout the application that we'll be covering later on in the videos. These are your active projects that you've been assigned that are due or past due. These are currently tasks that would be coming up due. You also have a priority queue over here that shows up and coming things that are actually late or coming up as due. You have a quick project search and a quick client search that just quickly allows you to search for a project or a client that you might need in a hurry. And then just some overall financials, as far as what quarter invoicing, last quarter, and then the variation from quarter to quarter. And it just graphs them out for you. Again, just as an overview of your business. The first step you're going to want to do when you sign into the application as a new user, you're going to want to come up here to the title bar, and there'll be a settings. You want to click on that settings. And below that, you'll see all of your company settings, as well as what we call administration items. The company settings are going to be items for your company specifically, your address, a logo, a company logo, and whatnot. The other items here are just administration items. They're lookup tables or data. So you can have many different project types, you can have many different contact types, and so on and so forth. This allows you to build out your application specifically for your use. So we're just going to go ahead and click on company settings real quick. In here you'll notice your company name, the primary user. We only have one user with this account, and so that it isn't going to be the demo user. You can fill out your address and then your logo. And then if you need it to be synchronizing with QuickBooks, which we will cover later. And then click Save. Over here are your invoices. You don't have any invoices at this moment, so there's nothing to display there. If we come back up here to the settings, let's just go ahead and go to the Project Types Administration item. These are the project types for this particular business. So you can have a project of a topo, a boundary, construction stakeout, or an identification survey. Each of those can have a separate map color, and what that means is that when we're mapping these projects on a map, they will be specific colors so you can see what types you're doing in what locations. And you can add new by coming to the Create New. You can edit by clicking on the pencil. If we were to come down to, say, employee titles, these are just titles for an employee. Party chief, what the standard billable rate is, chainman, draftsman, and so on and so forth. Again, you can click on the edit pencil and then be able to edit those individual items. There's a task list. These are, again, this is it populates drop-down boxes so that you can very quickly add tasks to projects. And so you have a project, and within a project you have multiple tasks. And so this research task is just a task that you can add into many different projects. You can add as many tasks as you want, any number that you need to do. We also have the task groups, and what that allows us to do is that you can kind of say that maybe these 3 tasks are part of a task group, so that whenever you have a project and you add in the task group, these 3 tasks will automatically add to that project, so that you don't need to individually add each task. That's a task group. Equipment, that's for if you track equipment and billable equipment on your timesheets and invoices to your clients. Again, you can have any number of equipment. And then you have expense types. So if you need to submit expense reports and whatnot, you can add all those expense types in here. So once you fill out all of your administration items, I would highly recommend that you fill these out first, at least a couple items in each one, so that when you're using the application, everything is populated accordingly. Because if you don't have a project type and you go to add a project, you can't tell the application what type of project that is. You can just say it's a project, but you can't give it a type. So I would strongly suggest you fill at least a few of these out on all of them. So once you've completed all your administration items, you can come over here. Home will always get you back to home. It's your dashboard. If you come down one notch, you'll see clients. If you click on that, that expands, and you can click on search, or you can click on new. Search will obviously allow you to search through all of your existing clients. You can type in any form of a name. You can type in client, or we can go CLI, click on search, and that gives us our two clients. If you click on one of those, you can then see the details of that particular client, the client name, the address, any notes, and so we can add notes in for this client. Each note is added on a separate line. We just call that test note. Click save, and that adds the client note into there and records who did it and also the date at which it was recorded. You can have multiple client contacts, and then this is where the contact type comes in. First name, you can type in whatever you want, and then you can select whether it's office, a billing contact, an owner, or an architect, what type of phone numbers, email addresses, and any notes specific to this contact itself. Save it, and there it's there for later retrieval. Client projects, this is just a quick link to get to the projects for this particular client. As you can see, we have 3 projects for this client. If you needed to add a new client, you just click on new, fill in the name, click create, and it would add that client to the database. Moving on to quotes, you can search for quotes, again the same way as you do for clients, and then once you click on one, this will bring up the quote information and all the data that pertains to that particular quote, the lat, the long, the location of it, any internal notes that you need to do. This would not be displayed on the quote itself. You can add multiple line items. When you click save, it saves it, and now you have a quote. You can print this to the PDF and send that off to the client. You can also convert this directly into a project, and then the quote will be forever linked to the project, so that if you're in a project, you can link it back to the quote, see what the original quote was, any internal notes you had on that quote, and so forth. So if a quote has become a project, we click on projects. This is where all your projects are at. You can perform any search across any of these fields. You can do a map search, supplying a lat and a long and a radius. If you use the section, township, and range functionality, you can search by those as well. Project types, a manager, if there's a particular manager in a project, whether it's due, whether it's overdue, due in 7 days, or it's due greater than 7 days out. Whether the project has tasks that are due within 7 days, or overdue, or due greater than 7 days. So we have a lot of different search functionality to allow you to find the projects that you need to find. If you click on one of these projects, this will give you more detailed information about the project itself. All kinds of different information here, location information, address information, legal description, general project description, flood data information. Over here is the project management area. You can, as far as what status is the project, is it open, on hold, inactive, archived, the date ordered, the due date,